welcome to Cinnamon Babe Horror Stories. I'm Cinnamon Babe, and every Friday I discuss creepy topics while I do my makeup. So if that interests you, please like and subscribe, and please enjoy the video. So, if you're watching this, it is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. And I just wanted to show off my new palette I got for my 30th birthday. And I absolutely love the colors. Oh my gosh. Love the colors. The colors are so pigmented. And it comes with a really nice mirror. So this is the palette I'm going to be using pretty much for my whole face in this video. But Thanksgiving is on Thursday. So instead of releasing this video on Friday, I'm releasing it on Thursday. So that way you guys can have something to watch while you're, bored in the house after eating your Thanksgiving meal. So let's get started with the video. Would you believe me if I told you there was a time in human history when people literally danced until they dropped dead uncontrollably? Well, here is the tale of the infamous dancing plague of 1518. In July 14th of 1518, in Strasbourg, France, a woman, Trophia, wandered out into the street outside of her house and began dancing. And there was no music playing. She just began dancing in the middle of the street. She had like a blank look on her face. And her neighbors began to notice, and passerbyers began to notice. This woman just was dancing uncontrollably, and there was a franticness to it. She seemed like a bit in a panic as she was dancing, and neighbors began to notice. The next thing that happens is 30 to 50 people ended up joining her as they saw her, as they were walking past her, and they too were dancing uncontrollably. And this would go on, at least for Trophia, for about a week. And by then, the dancing plague had claimed at least 400 people's lives. The dancers would dance literally until night, until the morning, literally nonstop. Till some of them even had strokes and heart attacks and would literally pass out and die. That's how heavily they were dancing. And mind you, nobody thought to stop them and help them, even though a lot of people were begging for help as they were dancing. No one would grab them and, stop them from dancing. They just were, left to dance in the streets uncontrollably and in pain. The dancers were covered in sweat, drenched in sweat, and the dance moves were described as the arms just wheeling around uncontrollably. I'm sorry to laugh. And it was convulsions and just spasms with blank looks on their face. And like I said, some were even begging for help. The victims would dance until their shoes filled up with blood and their feet swelled. And many would pass out from exhaustion, thirst, and hunger, which is so sad. Many believe that there was at least 15 deaths a day during this dancing plague. They said it's unknown in complete total of how many lives were lost due to it, but some say 400 people were involved in total. So by September, the remainder of the living victims that were still continuously dancing were sent to a mountain shrine where a Catholic priest would help them pray for absolution. And it's basically just praying for forgiveness, orchestrated by a Catholic priest. To this day, no one knows what caused the plague to start in the first place, and physicians of that time, unfortunately, prescribed for the victims to just basically dance themselves out of it, just get it out of their system and just dance until they finally just don't have the urge to do it anymore, which I think was the dumbest decision to make during this plague. That was literally the worst thing you could have done to those poor people. In my opinion, I feel like all you had to do, if you see someone that can't control themselves and they're in pain due to it, just, tie them to their bed and, just let it pass and feed them and support them and hospitalize them. That's what I would have done if somebody I cared about was literally dancing till their feet swelled, till their shoes filled with blood, till they weren't even eating or drinking during the dancing. Like, dang, did any of these people have loved ones that brought them food? You just watched them dance till they dropped dead? Come on now. But that explains why, I guess none of the family members helped, because I guess they were just following the doctor's orders of just having their family members just dance the plague out of their system. It got to the point to where the city even had musicians come and play music along to them dancing uncontrollably, which had to be torture. Like, those people probably just wanted help so bad and they couldn't get it because the doctors were saying that this was best. And so they just had music playing. I just wanted to show you how pigmented this palette is. That's from the sparkly white. I absolutely love it. But the playing of the music only made it worse. And mind you, plague was believed to be contagious. And so as a result of them believing that the plague was contagious, because like I said, people would witness it and then them themselves would start dancing. So they started to ban music and to ban dancing altogether. Like, say if you didn't have the plague, they didn't want you dancing at all or playing any music. So at the time, the music and the dancing was banned unless you had the affliction. It got to the point where Catholic priests began to believe, look at me messing up, they were being punished by the saints. Like, this was a punishment. The victims were then given crosses to hold as they were dancing. They were given painted shoes with crosses painted on the soles of the feet. And the Catholic rituals were performed while the dancing went on. And then finally, that was believed to be a success because finally, at the beginning or end of August, the plague stopped altogether. It is said that in the Middle Ages, things like this have happened before. Like in the 11th century in Saxony, they believed that it was God's judgment. And there were similar, dance movements that were happening uncontrollably, and it was also described as convulsions. In the 15th century, a woman in Italy got bitten by a tarantula, and it is said that the venom from the tarantula caused her to go into convulsions where she was, standing and dancing and whirling around. And they keep saying convulsions, so it's all connected. And basically, they just played some music and let her dance it out of her system. And that just is so crazy to me. Like, letting them dance it out of their system is just, I don't even know what to say. So there are many different theories that are related to this situation, this plague. And one being that there was a fungus that grew on wheat. And, people ate like breads and stuff and different things made out of wheat. And so that there was this fungus that started growing on the wheat, and it was called, ergot. And it is a psychiatric type of fungus that is an association to LSD, which can cause hallucination and basically make you act out of character. And this fungus was also in association to the Salem witch trial. It is also believed that another cause could have been stress-induced mass hysteria that is then causing psychogenic movement disorder, which involves convulsions. And I believe that's a pretty good theory because the way it spread, it wasn't just isolated to one person, it spread to hundreds of people in an instance. And that is very strange. Others believed that it was a curse brought on by a witch or demon possession, pretty much things of that type. And I would say it was both a curse or demon possession. And because of that, it involved the mass hysteria, the stress, and all basically all the medical terms you want to say due to the spiritual effect of it. Basically a curse. I believe that it was some type of plague that was brought on by a curse. So I have many different theories and opinions on this subject, and I would say, like, what if the village was cursed by like a angry witch or something? Because there was so many different witch trials and innocent people being hung and tortured and stuff like that. And I'm surprised that this particular event didn't lead to more of it. More like witch trials and stuff, because they were like so trigger ready to like, oh my gosh, a witch did this, let's start witch hunting. I'm surprised it didn't do that. I do believe it was some type of curse that brought on like all the medical terms that you want to call this situation because of the convulsions. What if the original woman that, started dancing in the streets, what if she was like, it was almost like a suicide bomb type thing where she like, the curse also plagued her, but she knew if she went out into the street and started dancing, other people, by seeing her, the plague would spread like that. That's one theory. It's kind of far-fetched because, she was heavily affected by it, but it didn't say that she passed. Also, another example could be, Trophia not, having anything to do with this, but maybe she was possessed and somehow the demon that was possessing her was strong enough to basically spread to everyone else by contact, which is by sight. It says that your sight can basically open portals for your demons to like enter you. So maybe from them seeing her possessed, it spread to the rest of the village. You have to be kind of like spiritual to understand that, because it sounds like really crazy coming out of my mouth. And then I just hate how the church and how the medical field of that time, which was very limited, handled the situation. I don't have a lot of negative things to say about the Catholic Church because I feel like they have pure intentions, but I feel like a lot of times they get a lot of things wrong spiritually because of some of the beliefs that they have, like with saints and stuff like that, praying to saints and seeking guidance from saints, which saints are human beings, and saints, human beings get things incorrect a lot. Like, we make mistakes, we make poor judgment, we have wrong predictions. So sometimes with the Catholic Church, I would say that because they're seeking counsel from human beings instead of directly from God, it leaves the doorway open to get a lot of things drastically incorrect. And so I feel like this was a particular example of that, because look what happened. Instead of people, getting the medical attention they needed, they were left to literally die in the streets. And that was like, reading that, I just felt so bad. Like, there's no way I would allow any of my family or friends to just be left in the streets to starve and dance their feet to a bloody pulp. Like, I just find that to be so disturbing. But yep, it was a short story today, but I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and please stay tuned to the next video.